Why so many women stay silent in bed? Why do some women lie still during assault? And why is that silence so dangerously misunderstood? When fear paralyzes the body, do we still expect it to scream for help? In a world quick to judge stillness as consent, what does a woman's silence really mean? Welcome to Live Stoic, Live Strong, where we trade illusions for truth, where emotions are felt but not obeyed, where clarity is power and discipline is freedom. This is not just a channel. It's a mindset. It's a journey of conscious living. Let's begin. Emily's silence wasn't consent. It was survival. A story of frozen fear, unseen pain, and a quiet strength that refused to die. Emily didn't scream. She didn't fight back. She didn't claw at his arms, didn't push him off, didn't even cry out for help. But that didn't mean she said yes. It was late, far too late for anyone to hear or notice. She was in a room with someone she had once trusted, someone whose smile used to feel safe. She'd laughed politely at his jokes, brushed off his touches with uneasy grace. But somewhere along the line, something changed. He didn't ask. He didn't check. He just decided. And when it happened, Emily's entire body locked up. Not in pleasure, but in fear. She froze, completely. Not because she agreed, but because she couldn't move. Later, when the story unraveled, the world would ask questions that cut deeper than the moment itself. Why didn't she scream? Why didn't she stop him? Why didn't she run? But no one asked what it felt like inside her skin. Because what they didn't see was the chaos that tore through her mind. Her heart pounded like a war drum. Her breath came in short, sharp bursts. Her limbs, numb and unresponsive, felt like they belonged to someone else, and her voice, trapped. Silenced by terror too heavy to name. Emily wasn't weak. She wasn't confused. And she wasn't complicit. She was surviving, in the only way her nervous system could in that moment. And when it was over, when the weight of what had happened settled into her bones, it wasn't just the silence in the room that haunted her. It was the silence she knew was waiting from the outside world. The silence of doubt. The silence of judgment. The silence of people who would rather believe she stayed still because she wanted it, not because she had no choice. Because society often misunderstands trauma. It imagines noise, struggle, resistance. But sometimes, trauma doesn't make a sound. Sometimes, it looks like stillness. Like eyes wide open but frozen. Like a woman who seems calm on the outside while dying on the inside. Emily's body didn't betray her. It protected her. It chose survival. And maybe the world needs to learn this truth. That strength doesn't always shout. Sometimes it's silent. Sometimes it just endures long enough to survive, and someday to speak. From the bottom of my heart, I want to express my sincere gratitude to each and every one of you, no matter where you are in the world, for taking the time to watch this video. Your presence and support are the driving force that keeps me creating and sharing. No words can truly capture the depth of my appreciation. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing. And thank you for walking this journey with me. On a bustling online forum, a heated debate broke out. Most of the participants were men. But what made this discussion controversial wasn't just the topic. It was how they dissected it. A young woman, a victim of rape, was the center of conversation, but oddly, it was other women who were being criticized. The story originated from a real incident. A girl had been raped. When the assailant first attacked her, she fought back with every ounce of strength she had. She struggled. She resisted. But in the end, she couldn't escape. Once overpowered, she stopped fighting. She lay still and endured. After it ended, she reported the incident to the police. But when the man was arrested, he gave a chilling defense. He claimed she wanted it. Why? Because, according to him, she didn't fight back once penetration began. She didn't scream. She didn't resist. She lay still. And in his mind, that meant consent. Shocking? It should be. But what's even more disturbing is how many men online echoed that belief. They asked, if she didn't want it, why didn't she keep resisting? Why did she go quiet? Why did she lie there like she was enjoying it? Some even went as far as to say, maybe she started liking it after a while. That assumption is dangerously wrong and horrifyingly common. In fact, most victims of sexual assault display this very reaction. They freeze. They shut down. Their bodies go numb. It's not pleasure, it's trauma. But still, society confuses a frozen body with agreement. To understand this better, let's go back to a real-life case in the US in 2014. A woman was assaulted under similar circumstances. During the trial, the judge asked her in open court, "Why didn't you fight? Why didn't you scream? Why didn't you close your legs?" For 2 years, the investigation dragged on, and in 2016 the verdict shocked many. The man was not convicted. Why? Because the court decided her silence and stillness meant she must have enjoyed it. Even worse, the judge advised the young man to be careful when playing with girls, as if the entire event was a misunderstanding at a party, not a crime. This case became a viral topic of debate, sparking the same old question again. Why do women lie still? Is it because they like it? Or because they are simply too frozen in fear to move? In today's video, Sophia will dive deep into this misunderstood trauma response, breaking down the psychological reasons behind why many victims freeze during assault, and why stillness should never be mistaken for consent. In the previous section, we explored a question that has haunted courts and conversations for years. Why do so many women lie still during sexual assault? Is it consent, or something far more complex? In 2005, an international study made headlines when it revealed something shocking. Nearly 88% of sexual assault victims experience what's known as temporary paralysis at the most critical moment of the assault. Scientists called this phenomenon tonic immobility, and for many, it was the first time someone dared to explain what survivors had endured in silence for decades. At the very moment when the perpetrator inserts the tool of violence into her body, a woman's nervous system may betray her will. Even though she does not want the act, even though she is mentally resisting with everything she has, her body might still show signs of arousal, such as moisture in her genitals. That moisture is not pleasure. It's not desire. It's a biological betrayal, a cruel contradiction of the soul's scream for help. And then, there's the freeze. When a person faces a threat that seems overwhelming, the brain typically activates one of two survival responses: fight or flight. If the body senses even the slightest chance of escape or victory, it will react. It will scream. It will run. It will punch, kick, bite, do anything to survive. But if the brain determines, in a split second, that fighting back is futile and that escape is impossible, it will trigger a third, lesser-known mechanism: freeze. This is not weakness. This is not surrender. This is nature's final defense when all other options collapse. When the freeze response kicks in, the body stiffens. Limbs feel paralyzed. The voice disappears. The woman becomes silent. Not because she wants to be, but because her body is shutting down to protect itself. It's a deep, unconscious response controlled by the brain's prefrontal cortex, which goes into lockdown under extreme fear and trauma. Think about it. Most victims are women who are physically smaller, lighter, weaker than the man attacking them. If she can't run, if she can't resist, then the body does what it can. It freezes in place, hoping to survive the storm. And yet, this is the very moment that some people, even judges, have tragically misunderstood. They look at her stillness and call it consent. But now you know the truth. Her stillness is not a yes, it's the echo of fear. In the next part, we'll take a closer look at how science explains this freeze, not as weakness, but as the final, hidden instinct for survival that too many have misjudged for far too long. In the previous part, we discovered the harsh truth behind why many victims freeze during an assault, not from desire, but from a deeply ingrained survival instinct. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for reasoning, decision-making, and conscious control, shuts down under overwhelming fear. Without this function, the victim can no longer think clearly, and the body is left to rely solely on instinct. In this state of panic and paralysis, the victim can no longer activate the two typical responses, fight or flight. Instead, she is flooded with fear, especially when overpowered, pinned, or physically dominated. Her mind races with one overwhelming thought: if I resist, he might hurt me more, or worse, kill me. This fear is not irrational, it is primal. And in that moment, the body chooses survival over reaction. The freeze response takes over, not because she consents, but because her subconscious determines that stillness offers the best chance of survival. She becomes motionless, her heart rate slows, her blood pressure drops, and in some cases, she may even feel dizzy or drowsy, not from calm, but from overload. Imagine this. You're held at gunpoint, unable to move. Do you fight? Do you scream? Or do you freeze, hoping, praying that stillness will save you? That's what happens inside the body of a woman in that moment. And yet, society often asks, why didn't she scream? Why didn't she fight back? These questions reflect a dangerous misunderstanding of trauma. When we lack awareness of this psychological mechanism, we wrongly label victims as complicit, or worse, as liars. But here's the truth. Guilt, shame, and blame do not belong to the victim. They belong solely to the perpetrator. When a woman's body goes still, it is not an invitation. It is not consent. It is a terrified reaction, rooted in biology, in vulnerability, in fear. And research supports this. Scientists have found that the body's freeze state is not unique to sexual assault. It's the same mechanism that helps people survive falls from great heights, car accidents, and battlefield trauma. It's a default survival setting, especially when the threat is greater than what the body or mind can process in real time. So today, let us no longer confuse silence with acceptance. Let us no longer look at a frozen woman and say she must have enjoyed it. No. What she experienced wasn't pleasure. It was a quiet, internal scream that no one heard. Sometimes, silence isn't peace. Stillness isn't surrender. And a frozen body isn't a willing one. What the world calls weakness is often just a body trying to survive. So before you judge her quiet, understand her fear. Before you question her stillness, Ask what it cost her to survive. Because strength isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's a woman who lived through the unthinkable and is still here, breathing. Protect her, believe her, stand with her. Thank you for your time. If an idea in this video touched you, let it settle in your heart. Each time you return, you might hear something new. Perhaps it will reach even deeper. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. See you in the next video, where we'll take another step together on this journey of inner discovery.